Hello there, Wastelanders. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fallout New Vegas Faction Warriors Tale of Two Wastelands edition. Kicking things off with our Regulator here. Been very excited for this run. Now, let's cut straight to the good stuff here. Those juicy details on what we're allowed to use. On screen right now are the weapons. I couldn't find an inventory list like a lot of the other units on the wiki, so this is the best I can find. Pretty nice little set here. And here's our apparel. The Regulator Duster in Fallout 3 gives you 4 DT. Well, in Tale of Two Wastelands, believe it or not, it's actually been buffed a bit. Next to that on screen is the actual DT value, 10. That's not too bad. I mean, we're still pretty squishy, and stuff like the Flamer is going to mess us up, but, you know, it's better than 4, right? Now, as we make our way to the tutorial, something that was really interesting I found out in this challenge is that, in Fallout 3, the combat shotgun, the ammo is just called shotgun shells. And here in New Vegas, we have different brands. We have the 12 gauge and the 20 gauge. Combat shotgun turns out uses 12 gauge. That's pretty nice, and the first 12 gauge weapon we've used in this series. And now, for those of you who are new to the series, first off, welcome. Love to see your beautiful face. But you'll see us use the varmint rifle in the tutorial. We need to do that for our routing, and I mean, we're just shooting at sarsaparilla bottles. Yeah, no big deal. We always sell the varmint rifle once we're done with it, unless we can use it, then we can keep it. All said and done, we're going to make our way to the Good Spring School and do our usual rigor here of taking out the praying mantises. We need to do this, our first mandatory battle. Gotta say, too, always love when I have a melee weapon for this. It makes it a lot easier for me personally. And, I don't know about you, but I don't like to waste bullets. Now, upon acquiring our first stealth boy, we're going to go ahead and make our way to Joe Cobb. We did the whole tutorial, the first part of it anyway, just so we could get Joe Cobb to appear in the Prospector Saloon, get him to run out here. We can take him up and get the second stealth boy. We need 2 of these for our routing. I do like that so far we have managed to basically assassinate Joe Cobb, sneak attack, crit one-shot him. Loving that consistency. We're not quite done with the powder gangers just yet, though. These 2 guys down here, they don't have the most valuable loot, but every cap really does count. Don't forget that before we enter the strip for the first time, we need to pass a credit check of 2,000 caps, or 80 science, but we don't have that here in Faction Warriors. Next up on our checklist, heading further east to take out the Bark Scorpions en route to Hidden Valley. And again, if you're new here, just know that we take this route instead of just going up to the gate and fast traveling, because not only do the Bark Scorpions give us enough XP to hit level 2, but their glands sell for about 18 caps a pop. It really does help. And as we take out the last of them, we're going to go ahead and ring-a-ding-ding. Get it? Because in MMORPGs, ding is slang for level up. Alright, we have Black Widow already. We're gonna go ahead and head on up north, going back. And turns out we have a little straggler here. Oh, you little sneak, you. Okay, now we're done here, which means we can fast travel. You can't fast travel when there are enemies nearby. Well, sometimes you can. It's Fallout New Vegas, it just kind of happens sometimes. But anyway, back at Good Spring is gonna make our way up north, hit the cemetery for, 9 experience points. I mean, it seems silly, but that also adds up. Although, it's kind of on our way to where we're going. We're gonna get to the Great Cons super early. The wiki says all you have to do is make contact in Red Rock Canyon, and then your criteria is done. My Chinese Remnant Officers run says otherwise. But yeah, this little scene right here, this is why we need 2 stealth boys. We need our first one to make this little hike here. The second one, we're gonna need that a little bit later in the run. But going this way guarantees that we can meet up with the Great Cons early, which is not only great for this series, it's something I like to do in casual play as well, because the Great Cons, well, I like going to Jack for bartering, and once you hit accepted with the Great Cons, you get access to their armory. Speaking of Jack, doing a little bizzo with him, and look at that, already at 905 bottle caps. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Tale of Two Wastelands and see that what we're selling is not at the value it should be, that's because the devs did something awesome and balanced this game's economy. Now, that isn't the jab you think it is, because whether you're playing Fallout New Vegas Vanilla or Tale of Two Wastelands, this routing works out pretty well for getting that 2,000 bottle cap credit check. I thought that was an interesting little detail. Oh yeah, and Carl's little footlocker does have randomly generated loot as well. It always has the Legion set, but sometimes it does have a service rifle with 556, that's why I grabbed it. That's great for us. Now, what's not going to be great for us is this Cook fight. I mean, killing Queenie, of course, super easy. We're lightly armored, we deal decent damage, but we still specialize in taking out heavy to light armored units. Cook has metal armor, he's gonna take a minute to take down. It's imperative that we take our time here. Using our Regulator's light armor status to our advantage allows us to sneak in closer before we ourselves are eventually spotted. Of course we will be. Our sneak score is pretty low. And it turns out that patience is in fact a virtue, and one that we sorely needed for this part of the run here. Cook's already taking care of Bizzo for us. And we took out Cook, although you saw we took quite a bit of damage from that. That could have very easily gone the other way. Best part of all, we have no real combat for quite a while now, so let's go take a walk, baby. And now, I haven't shown the routing in quite a while, in fact, since the first episode. So I figured, hey, been a minute, we'll go ahead and show it here. If it's someone's first time watching, they can follow along easier. They should still check out the Chinese Remnant run, because that run was a ton of fun. But hey, if not, this'll suffice. Now, you might have noticed in the Enclave Hellfire Trooper run, and at the start of this one, that I gave our characters here very special names. And when I name characters in these runs, it's either just Razador, some pun of it, or in the case of our Regulator here, I named it after a friend's OC. We're not in character here in Faction Warriors at all, we're just trying to go as fast as possible with the minimum amount of battles needed to win the game, but I thought it was a cool little name drop. Now, as we make our way to our next destination, we are going to take a very brief pit stop here coming up at the Retcon headquarters. Gonna go ahead and loot all the fiends inside, and we get pretty lucky with the loot. You don't need to stop there, but if you're playing as a unit with energy weapons, it's always a good idea to at least check. Well, that was a fun little hike, don't you think? Traverse some mountains, walked like a quarter of the wasteland, just to make it to good old El Dorado substation. Super important for our fast travel. Next up on our list is the field shack. Get that discovering XP, go inside, loot the place. The Able and Kid BB gun is really important. That always sells for a nice bit of caps, and you never know what you're gonna find inside. But you know, treasure is not always in the form of something that can yield money. Sometimes treasure can be something that makes you laugh, makes you feel good. Treasured memories, a great moment. The real treasure here is George boy. And it's funny that I mentioned that money's not always something that counts as treasure. Well, killing George boy here, not only do we get a double dose of XP from the speed check-in by killing him, but we get 427 bottle caps, which is just over a fifth of what we need to enter the strip. And we leveled up Georgie boy. It's a little early for Christmas, buddy. So, that was awesome. We'll go ahead and take rapid reload. Always helps to have a bit of a faster reloading speed. I think we'll drop a nice, healthy save here, right by the artillery strike. Let's see how we do. And as can be expected, the Boomers really amping up their game here. We take a lot of damage going through here. Doesn't help that we're lightly armored, but hey, the worst is behind us now. As we make contact with Pearl here, we're gonna go ahead and try and do what we did in the first episode. Rob from the elderly. And what do you know? This time, it actually worked out. Miracles really do happen. Doesn't it make you feel warm and fuzzy inside? If there's any run where this needed to work out, it was definitely this run. All that extra 556 ammo, heck yeah. Next up, gonna do a bit of Bizzo with our boy Dixon here. We're not gonna kill him immediately. This time, however, because I've been saving up enough chems and alcohol for Day Trip, we're gonna try and get that for the final fight. Stacking that with Logan's Loophole makes Stealth Boys last a hilariously long time, a fact I love, by the way. One of these days I have to have potato crisps on me so I can sell them to Dix and be like, "What up, Dixon? All that in a bag of potato chips," like that other stupid 90s slang I had to grow up with. And we may not have one-shot Dixon, but hey, the fact that we took him out before he attacked us, always a good sign. Making our way further inside of Freeside here, we only encounter one Freeside thug here this time. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two. Glad it's one this time. Saves us a bit of time. I figure that with weapons like the combat shotgun and the Chinese assault rifle doing some of the heavy lifting, it's always nice to use our laser pistol. Give that underdog a fighting chance. When we attack Old Ben in an effort to get his 44 Magnum, we can't use that just for selling. Definitely going with the combat shotgun, and turns out things don't start out too well. I was hoping for a sneak attack, didn't get one. But still, Old Ben, made of tissue paper, we can tear through him easily. The Freeside thug tries running away, and we use this opportunity to get in some long-range practice with our shotgun. It's always what you use shotguns for, right? Now, because we have Black Widow, we're gonna try going to the Emeritus first, get that off our checklist. After we're all said and done getting our sweet speech check XP, making our way over to our man Multima, the better character to side with in the White Gloves, my personal opinion. All said and done, time to hit the tops. This time we don't have to wait for Benny, so that's either a very good thing or a very bad thing compared to the Enclave Hellfire Trooper. Anyway, we pass a charisma check that doesn't require any charisma at all. Very cool. Make our way up to Benny's room, ragdoll him off the ceiling once we're done having fun. And it's Wolpez time. He sees a combat shotgun, goes, hey, here's a medallion. We're like, ah, cool, thanks. Kaboom! Okay, that would have been a better punchline if we got Bloody Mess, but still a nice clean headshot, always nice. One hit, one KO, one death, whatever you want to call it. Next up is the Gauntlet of Securitrons at Mr. House's joint. We got this invitation, and he's like, oh yeah, come on in. Got my platinum trip, I got that pre-war drip. And our courier's like, yeah, alright, enough of this. And gotta say, it took a lot less damage than I thought we would. Love to see that. So we go inside and go, hey, Mr. House, you got that pre-war drip? Son, you nothing but a creep. Okay, I'll never attempt rap lyrics again. Maybe. No promises. Okay, enough of that. Gotta go to the Brotherhood of Steel back at Hidden Valley. We're gonna do the little quest for them, get Ranger adoption. We get 2 speech checks out of the deal, which is pretty nice. Allegedly, all we have to do is attack them and be on our way, but I find that this is safer, and I want the 2 speech check experience points gains anyway. Okay, so we're gonna make this super easy for the NCR troopers at El Dorado substation, get absolutely sloshed, and get Day Tripper in the process. Totally not why I did that, by the way. And then we can make our way over. We are in a state of mind I can't even begin to describe, and, well, let's see what happens. Okay, just gonna get to El Dorado substation, click on that bad boy, fast travel, here we are. I mean, you see this, right? The entire squad is just watching us as we leave, no problems. Truly, the best choice for the Mojave Wasteland. Don't you just feel safe at night knowing those guys are watching after you? Well, I feel safe here in the Lucky 38 with that big face watching over me as we get ready for Hoover Dam. Now, with Day Trooper, the only chems we might have to reuse are Steady, because Steady, I remember, doesn't last very long, and Turbo, too, of course, if we get some. You know, my favorite part about damage-boosting chems like Psycho is that when you use them, your bullets get stronger. Isn't that just amazing how that works out? Ah, speak of the devil, some Steady, that's gonna be great. Don't know about you guys, but that's my favorite chem. Let me know what yours is in the comments below. So that opening VATS on that first Kenturian wasn't the most impressive thing. However, we have 0 gun waiver and are buffed out the wazoo, so we just empty the clip into that SOB and it's goodnight Irene. Oh, and that one. The only thing that would make this more awesome is if we had a sniper rifle, combine that with Steady, and combat just gets super easy. It's so satisfying to pull off. As for the Prime Legionary and the follow-up 2 Kenturians, gotta say, we took them out pretty fast. A lot faster than I was expecting. The damage output we have is on point, it's just that we're not taking very much, further emphasizing that the best defense is, in fact, a good offense. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, place your bets right now. Who's going to win between 2 quote-unquote powered armored soldiers versus a duster-toting badass with a poisoned combat knife? Oh, I think the odds are really against us here. They're armored to the teeth, armored and armed to the teeth. Oh, snap. Once again, the NCR's finest. They will protect you, they promise. We can go ahead and sweep our way over to the self-destruct button. And, well, speaking of things blowing up, I didn't see that frag grenade there. That was pretty awesome. Actually saved us a little bit of time. Now we'll go ahead and patch ourselves up here as needed and take care of the 2 NCR Rangers. I actually like the way they look, but I'm not going to give them credit because they got that from the Desert Rangers. And from that day forward, the Desert Rangers regretted that decision forever. So we'll go ahead and enter the next room, make our way over to that nice little red button that we want to push, make our way back outside, and we're going to leave that NCR trooper for our Securitron. He needs to get on the action too. He needs that target practice. And, well, we have Day Tripper, so no reason for me not to use a Stealth Boy. Now, even without Day Tripper, we could make this little hike here. That just goes to show how strong Day Tripper actually is, because we still have quite a few of our chems on us. I haven't tested this out yet, and I was considering doing it, but I was like, nah, man, I gotta kill the NCR Heavy Troopers. Looking back, I probably could have just stealth one-shot them with, like, the Chinese AR or something. But there's something real satisfying about killing those 2 guys with a melee weapon, because poisoning a power armor unit is just hilarious. But yeah, Day Tripper, I'm thinking that's gonna last us from the second we enter the tower to get to where we need to install the override ship and on our way back out. Hey, who knows, maybe I'll test that in a future run. And as we say before Leg Atlantis, really liking that time before getting to the second half of Hoover Dam. Alright, all done here. We'll go ahead and talk to Legatlanius like we usually do, speed right by that, and make our way over to General Oliver to finish up the run. Yeah, I've been playing fanfare music or like results music, victory music, depending on what game you play. Whenever Oliver is on screen, I find it very appropriate with that all of one speech check we need to get him to back down and be like, "Oh man, yeah, you right." As for our final time, now, unfortunately, now you saw our save time from before we got to the second half of Hoover Dam. Not quite sub 1 hour. That would have been really nice. However, the Chinese remnant has been dethroned. I gotta be honest, I did not see that coming at all when I was planning out these units. I thought the Chinese remnant would definitely do better than the Regulator. Now for our second half of the series, enter President Dave. Glory to the Republic. I'll see you there.